Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to thank the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine for inviting us. Like the previous speaker, I find it very encouraging to be not just in this wonderful location in La Jolla, but also in a room full of gene therapy enthusiasts. But believe me, in my career in the last 20 years, trying to commercialize gene therapy, and for a long time, the only UK gene therapy business, it could sometimes be a very lonely task going around conferences trying to persuade people that what we had was sensible and could be invested in. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. We are a public company on the London Stock Exchange, so this is a disclaimer slide as I will be making some forward-looking statements. So the company at a glance. We've been in existence since 1996 as a spin-out from the biochemistry department in Oxford University. The academic founders brought with them a third-generation lentiviral vector platform, which is proprietary to the company. We have further developed that as a system, and over the years we have now treated over 50 patients in the clinic in 4 different indications, both in the CNS and in the eye, and that's both in this country and also in Europe, in the UK, and in France. As I've already said, we're a public company. We started life on the junior market in London, moved to the London main list in April 2001. We've raised money by attrition over the years on the London market, and we have a group of very patient shareholders. And as we have progressed the development of our gene delivery system, we are now embracing the future where we want to commercialize a broad range of products and build out the company so that it can take on the commercialization challenge in a fully integrated manner. To that end, we've expanded our capability in terms of space, as you'll see, but also our employees have grown from some 60 to 80 last year. We're now over 200 this year. So what's the business model of Oxford BioMedica? So we like to describe this as a strategy with 3 arms to it. First and foremost, the company is a product development company. Although we have a platform technology, our focus is to develop products to treat patients. And where possible, we want to take some of these products through to the market ourselves over time. As we all know, with in early days of biotech companies, you're not always able to do that. So strategically, we have on the way partnered some of those products with companies where that makes sense to us. And indeed, there's an example I'll show you later where we've partnered 2 of our eye programs with Sanofi. The second arm to the business, which underpins our product commercialization, is an arm we called OXB Solutions. And this essentially is a GMP lentiviral vector manufacturing capability and process development as well. This came about because, and those of you who were in the panel earlier, we used CMOs in the early day of the company's existence. But if you use CMOs, as we did, you always had to tech transfer your own process, and you always had to develop your own specialized analytics. And as we had 4 programs going through the clinic and heading towards phase 2 and beyond, we started bumping into ourselves in booking slots in our CMO. And the obvious conclusion to us was that we needed to take better control of the manufacturing process, and we brought that back in-house through the acquisition of a manufacturing plant, which has now been expanded. That brought Novartis to us last year. It was announced this time last year that we've entered into a broad strategic alliance with Novartis to manufacture their CAR-T program products, the lentiviral vectors for their CAR programs, as well as engaged in a process development collaboration to industrialize the process and bring down cost of goods. So these 2 arms are underpinned by a substantial portfolio of intellectual property. That's the foundational patents, but also 18, 19 years of accumulated know-how. And Nisei's in terms of process development and manufacturing There are a lot of bits of technology that are better kept as trade secrets and know-how rather than being patented. All of that has been combined into our licensees, Sanofi and Novartis, and as I've just mentioned, but also we have worked with others that need access to our intellectual property for products they're developing. GSK is an example of that. They've taken a freedom to operate license for their programs. So as well as bringing in revenues ultimately from the products we develop ourselves, we will be complementing that with revenues from manufacturing and process development, license fees from our collaborators, which will bring upfronts, milestones, and ultimately royalties on sales of third-party products. So let's talk about our product portfolio. Before I show you the pipeline, one of the features of Oxford BioMedica is that in the past we have been firmly in the in vivo space, but over the last couple of years we have started to complement our skills in the in vivo space by moving into the ex vivo space. So on the left-hand side of the slide you'll see two examples of two programs that are clinical for Parkinson's disease and for wet age-related macular degeneration. And as we move into the ex vivo space, we clearly are leveraging our relationship with our partnership with Novartis in making their CAR-19 product. But we're also developing our own CAR-T product using a tumor-associated antigen called 5T4 that we obtained under license from the Cancer Research UK when the company was founded. So where does this fit into our pipeline? So if you look at right at the bottom of the pipeline slide, the 5T4 platform technology is the 5T4 antigen that's been developed in a number of guises. We have developed it in the past as a cancer vaccine called Trovax. It's been licensed as an antibody to Pfizer and also in the imaging space to a small company called Imaginab. We've now taken the 5T4 technology and combined it with our lentiviral vector technology, which now takes you to the top of the pipeline, where you see OXB302, where we are developing a CAR-T approach using 5T4 for multiple solid tumor indications. Also, in the ex vivo space, we've been developing in ophthalmology an engineered tissue graft where we genetically modify corneas so they express the anti-angiogenic genes endostatin and angiostatin, and this prevents corneal graft rejection in patients. That's going to enter the clinic next year. If you go into the CNS, I've mentioned Parkinson's disease, and here we are converting striatal neurons in the patient's brain so they become dopaminergic neurons. So what happens is a Parkinson's patient, if they're treated with our Parkinson's product, they will produce tonic levels of dopamine in the striatum where it's needed to prevent the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. That's already been in a phase 1/2 study in a product called Prosavin. That was reported a couple of years ago. It's published. The results were published in The Lancet. It was safe and well tolerated and produced signs of efficacy where we were getting 30% improvement in the Parkinson's rating score and seeing up to 40% reduction in the associated dopamine-based co-meds. We are going back into the clinic with a revised construct for this product where we're producing maybe 5 to 10 times more dopamine, and we believe this will give a stronger sign of efficacy in these patients where the co-meds will come down substantially further. Also in the CNS, we are developing a product for ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, where we're genetically modifying motor neurons with the gene VEGF-B, which is neuroprotective. That's in preclinical, and we estimate that will be clinical towards the end of 2016. In the ophthalmology space, we have developed 3 programs for 2 genetic diseases of blindness in children, Stargardt disease and Usher's syndrome, and for wet age-related macular degeneration. The first two of those have been now licensed to Sanofi. They've taken over those products. They are now developing them by themselves, and we expect to get milestones and royalties on those products. The retinostat program for wet age-related macular degeneration has been in 21 patients in a safety study, has shown to be safe, well tolerated, and interestingly, we can measure gene expression by taking aqueous taps from the front of the eye, and we can measure the gene expression from that. And we've demonstrated a dose response in what we detect and can see sustained expression over a long period of time. So just to give a bit more detail in terms of our relationship with Novartis, this time last year we signed a three-stage agreement with Novartis that incorporated a license to our intellectual property in terms of the background IP, a 3-year manufacturing and supply agreement that can be extended for CTL019, a co-development program to enhance process development, where we both invest in that. Oxford BioMedica owns the arising IP from that. Novartis has an exclusive license in the CAR-T space. Financial terms are spelt out here. Includes an upfront and equity component for the IP license, and a whole series of payments and bonus payments if we succeed in increasing the efficiency of our production process into bioreactors, producer cells, and serum-free. That's also underpinned by a royalty, a downstream royalty on any CAR product that we work on. So to be able to satisfy our collaborators, particularly Novartis, and develop our own product pipeline, we've embarked upon an expansion program. We've recently moved to a new building called Windrush Court to accommodate the more staff we have. This is co-located with our existing manufacturing plant called Harrow House on the bottom left there, where we are redeveloping some of the fallow space that was in that building. And we've also recently converted an empty warehouse to the northwest of Oxford in the UK to create an extra 18,000 square feet of clean room space. We believe this expansion will provide us with the capability and the space to manufacture both our own products as we go through into the future, satisfy the demands of our collaborators, Novartis and any others we choose to work with, and any third parties in addition. In terms of news flow for the next 12 months, this gives you an indication of the rich results that are going to be coming through in the company in the next near term. But while you read that, I'll just summarize in the time I have left, just to emphasize that over the company's history, we have developed third-generation lentiviral vector systems. It's been licensed to multiple partners. We've treated over 50 patients in the clinic to date, safe and well tolerated. We can carry in multiple genes or large genes and achieve long-term expression over many years. In fact, in our early Parkinson's patients, they've now shown efficacy for now over 5 years. So this has demonstrated transducing genes into multiple cell types, whether it's neurons, eye cells, or T cells. And I think this shows the diversity of the platform, its capability, its safety, and its ability to treat patients in the future. Thank you.